All right, we'll begin with the invocation in relation to the six Goswamis. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Saddharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarina Tribhuvane Manyo Saranya Karo Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nande Namataliko Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. In the translation, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami Pranam Mantra. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Tadati Swa Padantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami, who was established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? You can say together with me, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from the Nectar of Instruction, and we are continuing with text number 9 today. So we can get to the verse and the translation, and we'll say the verse together with the translation and the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Brhat Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So the verse. Vaikuntaj janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasod savad vrindaranyam udarapani ramanat tatrapi govardhanaha radha kundam hiapi gokulepate prem amrita plavanat kuryad asya virajato giritate sevam vivekina kaha. And the translation. The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarine prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kund, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill? I'll read the first paragraph in the purport. The spiritual world is 3/4 of the total creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is the most exalted region. The spiritual world is naturally superior to the material world. However, Mathura and the adjoining areas, although appearing in the material world, are considered superior to the spiritual world because the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself appeared at Mathura. The interior forests of Vrindavan are considered superior to Mathura because of the presence of the 12 forests, Dvadasavan, such as Talavan, Madhuvan, and Bahulavan, which are famous for the various pastimes of the Lord. Thus, the interior Vrindavan forest is considered superior to Mathura. But superior to these forests is the divine Govardhan Hill, because Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill like an umbrella, raising it with his lotus-like beautiful hand to protect his associates, the denizens of Vraja, from the torrential rains sent by angry Indra, king of the demigods. It is also at Govardhan Hill that Krishna tends cows with his cowherd friends. And there also he had his rendezvous with his most beloved Sri Radha and engaged in loving pastimes with her. Radha Kund at the foot of Govardhan is superior to all because it is there that love of Krishna overflows. Advanced devotees prefer to reside at Radha Kund because this place is the site of many memories of the eternal loving affairs between Krishna and Radharani, Rati Vilas. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the Brahma Samhita, it is described that there are uh, three features of existence. The material world is called a Durga Dham. In other words, Durga means the present house of the material world. See? And between the material world and the spiritual world is a place called Mahesh Dham. And that is the place of Sadashiva and Parvati. It's in between. It's like border of the material world. And above the border of the material world is called Haridham, which is described in this particular translation in text number 9. The entire place is called Haridham, or in one sense, the Vaikuntha region. Now, before we proceed to explain these different spiritual regions, we also have to have you could say, a foundational understanding of Radha Krishna. And I have explained this previously also into the Nectar of Devotion classes and as well as here. But still, for the sake of reminding ourselves, it is important. See, Radha Krishna are one supreme spirit soul, but are divided into two for the sake of rasa or play, or you could say pastimes, lila. So the example can easily be understood in the sense that the sun gives sun's rays and it gives heat that is conducive or temperamental to our bodies. So one on this earthly planet, in this particular human body, has the advantage of not associating directly with the sun, but indirectly with the sun, by the sun emanating its heat and rays. And that temperature of the heat and rays is conducive for us to get, you could say, even nutrition from the sun rays or the sunshine or the sunlight. So similarly, Krishna is like the sun and Srimati Radharani is like the sun's rays or the sunlight or the sunshine. So between Krishna and ourselves is Srimati Radharani. Just like between the sun and ourselves is the sun rays, the sunshine or the sunlight. So therefore, it is important to note that the sun's rays or the sunshine or the sunlight is actually emanating from the sun, and it is inseparable. You cannot separate it. So similarly, Radha comes forth from Krishna, just as the sun's rays and sunshine and sunlight comes forth from the sun. But they are inseparable. Inseparable means that the sun is there, and when it emanates its heat and light, it's one. It's one. Because the sun's rays and the sunshine and the sunlight are also the sun. And therefore, at the same time, they are two. So you get the sun and you get the sun rays, the sunshine and the sunlight. They are two. But at the same time, they are one. Non-different and at the same time, different. So similarly, Radha and Krishna are non-different and simultaneously they are different in relation to pastimes or lila or rasa or relationships. So that should be clearly understood. Whereas the so-called boy and girl or male and female in the material world, they are different. They are not one. They can never be one. See, they are always different. They are two different spirit souls. Whereas spiritually speaking, on the absolute platform, Radha and Krishna are one supreme soul in two features. In two features, for the sake of Leela, to play, or for the sake of rasa, or relationships. So I thought I'll just emphasize these 2 points for now. Now you can place slide 81 onto the screen, which will take you in a diagram form in my discussion for the hierarchy of the spiritual world. All right. And if you have your slide notes, it's also in your slide notes in a sentence form. So we find, if you look at the illustration on the screen, and Srila Prabhupada uses the word superior in the translation. One is superior than the previous preceding one. Now the entire spiritual world or spiritual sky is called Vaikuntha. Okay? Now, within Vaikuntha, the entire spiritual world, which includes Radha Kund also, within Vaikuntha, the essence of Vaikuntha. For example, just like you get a lotus flower and it has a central whorl, and from the lotus flower emanates all the different petals, and the nearest petals are to the whorl, and then the other petals are coming onto the outside, like in an unlimited way, petals of the lotus flower. So Vaikuntha is the entire spiritual sky or spiritual world. And the essence of Vaikuntha within Vaikuntha is called Mathura Mandala. Mathura Mandala. And Mathura Mandala has another essence within it. Another name for Mathura Mandala is called Vraja Mandala. So within Mathura Mandala, the essence of Mathura Mandala is Vrindavan. And within this entire forest of Vrindavan, the essence within Vrindavan is called Govardhan Hill. And within the area of Govardhan Hill, the quintessence of all the essences up to Vaikuntha is called Radha Kund. Are we all right with that sketch or diagram onto the screen for now?
Yes, Maharaj.
Within Vaikuntha is Mathura Mandala. Within Mathura Mandala is Vrindavan. And within Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill. And within Govardhan Hill is Radha Kund. Now, if you take a vehicle, a taxi, or a car from the old road and not in the Yamuna Expressway from Delhi to Vrindavan, you will come from the old road, and when you enter after Kosi into the Vraj Mandal area, you will see there's one sign on your right side. It says Nandagram. Then you go a little further on your left side, it says another sign, Govardhan Hill. See? But that is relative according to how we are measuring distances in terms of physical proximity or geographical consideration here, in terms of kilometers or miles. But it is really not like that. Those signs are relative because we are having material bodies entering into a spiritual atmosphere. But the actual spiritual atmosphere that we're discussing here is a little different from that. Because this spiritual atmosphere of the hierarchy of the spiritual nature, or spiritual sky, or spiritual world is based on consciousness. See? So I'll discuss that now a little bit with the diagram itself again. So Vaikuntha is the consciousness of everyone is an eternal servant of Krishna. See? In other words, you can put me onto the screen, so I'll take this step by step. But you have an essence of it: Vaikuntha, Mathura, Mandala, Vrindavan, Govardhan Hill, and Radha Kund. You have an essence of that in your consciousness. So Vaikuntha Dham, in general, which includes Radha Kund, means we are Jivara Swarubhai, Krishna Nityaness. We are all eternal servants of the servants of Radha Krishna. So there are many planets called Vaikuntha planets. And on these planets, in the Vaikuntha area, in a sense, Lord Narayan is worshipped with awe and reverence or veneration. Now, on these planets, the principal rasa that is predominant is called Shanta Ras, which is a type of neutrality. And the devotees are also connected with Narayan, Lakshmi Narayan, on the basis of being Supreme Personality of Godhead in Dasya Ras, which means the mellow of servitorship, to serve, the subordinate serving the superior, Lakshmi Narayan. And then also there's a bit of, you could say, Sakya Ras. It's called fraternity in the Vaikuntha region. And this Sakya is represented by a word called Gaurava Sakya. So Gaurava means awe and veneration, or awe and reverence. So that means one has some friendship with Lakshmi Narayan, or especially Narayan, on the basis of friendship in awe and reverence. And that is there. It's a partial feature of Sakya Ras. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the purport before I go to the next features of that. So in the purport, I'm going to read the beginning sentences again. The spiritual world is 3/4 of the total creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is the most exalted region. So this word 3/4 is like given like a token of a measurement, but it's not really like that. Just for us to understand that the vastness of the Vaikuntha region, or the spiritual sky, is far greater than, the material creation. See? And also within the material creation, within this earthly planet, we cannot even measure the sky, in that sense. So the measurement is given in terms of like a limited understanding on our experience on the material platform. So then I'm reading on the next sentence. The spiritual world is naturally superior to the material world. Okay, Vaikuntha region. However, Mathura and the adjoining areas, although appearing in this material world, are considered superior to the spiritual world because the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself appeared at Mathura. Now, this is a very interesting fact from Srila Prabhupada. And what does this mean? This means this is not talking about Goloka Vrindavan. It's not talking about the Mathura Dwarka in the Vaikuntha region. It's discussing and letting us know of Mathura, which is about 90 miles southeast of Delhi. We're talking about this Mathura within this world. See? We're talking about this Vrindavan that we go on parikrama. We're talking about this Govardhan hill that we see, including that we have these so-called material bodies, and including this Radha Kund that we have here. about 90 miles or something southeast of New Delhi. So this particular area within the material world is superior to all the Vaikuntha planets of Narayan in the spiritual. That's what's given by Srila Prabhupada in the Prabhupada. Okay? So now we go to Mathura Puri, which is the essence of Vaikuntha, which is within this world, the Mathura that we go to. Sometimes we call that place, where Krishna appeared, Janmastan or Janmabhumi, that area, that place. Yes. So this particular Mathura Puri, which includes the entire of Mathura Mandala in a sense, see, is primarily, you could say, Vatsalya Bhav, which is the parental affection of Devaki and Vasudeva. But this Vatsalya Bhav is not entirely exclusive Vatsalya because it is mixed with Aishvarya Gyan. In other words, the Aishvarya means opulence and Jnana means to know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in relation to Devaki and Vasudeva. They know this, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. See? So that's in Mathura Puri. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. Vaikuntha as Shanta Ras, Dasya Ras, and is also Gaurava Sakya, that means friendship with awe and reverence. See? Mathura Puri is exclusively Vatsalya Bhav, which is also, you could say, mixed with the appreciation of Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is called Aishwarya Gyan. So it's a little higher in terms of the rasas to Vaikuntha planets itself. See? So because when Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, they also prayed to Krishna, with awe and reverence, because they understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan or Vishnu, has appeared before them. Now, can you transform yourself into a little child? So that is there. Now, the essence of Mathura Puri, which is the whole of Vraj Mandala, is called the forest of Vrindavan. Forest of Vrindavan. One is inside the other. Mathura Puri is within Vaikuntha. Vrindavan forest is within Mathura Puri. Why? Because in the Vrindavan forest, Krishna performed the Madhurya Ras, which is a little bit, you could say, transcendentally superior to Vatsalya, which is transcendently superior to Sakya or Dasya or Shanta. See? So therefore, in this Vrindavan forest, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita asked, Ramananda Rai, Sarvatyaga Jivera Kartavya Kahan Vasa. See? And then Ramananda Rai replied, Vraja Bhumi Vrindavana Yahan Lila Rasa. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, where should the living entity live? Like giving up all other places. Like giving up all other places. And Ramananda Rai replied, Vraja Bhumi Vrindavana Yahan Lila Rasa. And Ramananda Rai Prabhu replied that one should live in the holy place known as Vrindavan or Vrajabhumi, where the Lord performed his rasa dance. See? That is all rasa dances all over in Vrajabhumi. Now within the forest of Vrindavan, it's not like when we go today, we go to Vrindavan, where's the town of Vrindavan, and where there's Raman Reddy, and where there's our Krishna Balaram Mandir. That's only one small part of the forest of Vrindavan. The forest of Vrindavan extends all the way to Govardhan Hill, which is not understood when we go there today. Because we say, okay, this is Vrindavan town, and that is Govardhan town. But actually, the forest of Vrindavan includes Govardhan Hill. See? So therefore, within the forest of Vrindavan, the essence of the forest of Vrindavan is that place called Govardhan Hill. And why? Because in the forest of Vrindavan, in general, Krishna performs Rasa Lila with both sets of gopis. You will find that Radharani, when we worship Radha and Krishna, she's on the left side hand of Krishna. So therefore, Radharani is known as a left-wing gopi. See? And when Radhavani's younger sister, who is the daughter of Chandrabhanu, who is the younger brother of Vrishabhanu, who's Radharani's father. So a younger sister was the daughter of Chandrabhanu. Her name is Chandravali. So she is the leader of the right-wing gopis. So when she comes to Krishna, she's always on Krishna's right. See? So in the forest of Vrindavan, what may include Govardhan Hill to an extent, is that Krishna performs the Rasa Lila with both the left-wing gopis headed up by Radharani as well as the right-wing gopis, especially in Sarat Purnima, which is autumn, which is the first full moon night during the month of Kartik at Vamsivat. Whereas in Govardhan Hill, which is the essence of the entire forest of Vrindavan, there are a lot of, you could say, lila stands, or you could say rasastalis, around and within the forest of Govardhan Hill. Yeah. And those rasastalis, Krishna only engages in dances with them called Rasa Lila, only with the left-wing gopis. That means Radharani and her friends. And that happens in Vasant Panchami. In our relatively calculation, that's like when spring comes after winter, which is like end of January, beginning February. Spring, Vasant Panchami. So therefore, that is even more important. And then within Govardhan Hill itself, the quintessence of all essences coming from Vaikuntha. That means the quintessence of the essence of Govardhan, which is the essence of Vrindavan forest, which is the essence of Mathurapuri, which is the essence. Mathurapuri is the essence of Vaikuntha. So the quintessence of all essence is within Govardhan Hill, and that is called Sri Radha Kund. Sri Radha Kund. So there, Krishna mostly, although sometimes with all the other gopis, but Krishna mostly spends intimate and exclusive time just with Srimati Radharani, that Radha Kund. So now we'll just overview, in one sense, how Radha Kund appeared, which is also discussed in the second paragraph here, briefly in the purport. Yeah. And we will discuss it from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's, you could say, several verses that he brings out from the Puranas. And it's also in some purport in the purport in the 10th canto, in chapter 36. Yeah. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur discusses that this conversation between Sri Krishna and Sri Radha was more in a joking spirit. But externally, it may have appeared serious. In other words, there are two features of consciousness. One is like internally, the consciousness may be, like jovial or humorous, but externally, no, I'll put on a stern face, like that. But it's actually a joking conversation between Radha and Krishna. And this took place in the same area where you can find the hoof prints of the bull demon called Aristasura, and Krishna killed him in that area of Radhakund. So, in fact, the principal simple word for Radhakund and Shyamakund is called ponds. It is not really a huge lake. Kund means pond. See? So the gopis are generally have a purity of innocence. And the purity of innocence of the gopis is that they don't want to be contaminated by anything or by anyone who appears to be, you could say, engaging in inverted commas some sin. See? So when the gopis heard, how, especially headed up by Srimati Radharani, they heard how, Krishna mercilessly, practically, mercilessly killed this bull demon in the form of a bull, bull, demon, Aristasura. They thought, what a thing, what did he do, And when Krishna went close to them, just after killing that bull demon, he didn't even take bath. So Radharani said, don't touch me. And the gopi said, in that same area, don't touch me. So Krishna asked, why? He said, even though Aristasura, was a sort of demon, but, you should have some compassion and just chastised him and purified him. But he was the form of a male cow, And how come, they say, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Ityaj. In other words, the cows, and the brahmanas are very, very dear to you, but you killed a male cow, a bull. So how is this? Then Krishna asked, then what do I have to do? Because I desire and I need your association. Your association is my life. That's how he addressed the gopis. So then the gopis said, you'll have to do some prayaschita, some atonement. And they quoted, just as, because they know some stories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the gopis said, just as Lord Indra, even after killing the demon, Vritrasura, he had to do some atonement of prayaschita, so you should do the same. Okay? And what to speak of you? Lord Indra is a great devata. You're not even like him. You should just do this prayaschita atonement. It's like Nara Lila. It's all like human-like pastimes, in that sense. Okay? So therefore, Krishna asked, what do I do? For this atonement. He was begging them, please tell me what prayaschita I should do, atonement. Then I know, then I can come to you and I seek your association. Without your association, I am nothing. So then they all together, in a chorus said, you should purify yourself. And we don't want to see you until you have went to every single holy place and holy rivers especially, and bathed in every single one of them in the three worlds, Bhur Bhuva Swaha, in the entire universe, like that. So the gopis said, oh, they're going to really, see how Krishna is going to do this, because that's like traveling for quite a long time, in every river practically in the entire universe, Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So Krishna replied, that is going to take a very long time. And can you all live without me, without my association? See? And Radharani said, oh, you become so arrogant. You are feeling that we desire your association? Are you gone pagla or crazy? You wanted to come and be with us. But we have transcendental condition that you have to go and purify yourself of killing a male cow. See? So how come you become so arrogant? We know why. Because you are unable to do it. To go to all the holy rivers in the entire universe, practically. 3 words, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. Krishna said, oh, you don't know me? He's showing his arrogance more, transcendental life. You don't know who I am? Why should I go wandering all in the entire universe? I will bring all the holy places and holy rivers to me at once. He said, oh, what is he talking about? When he is hungry, the gopis were feeling within themselves, when he is hungry, he runs to his mother, feed me. Who is he? What is he talking about? Is he some yogi or some tapasvi or some demigod or something that is speaking like this? And also he gets depressed when we don't come to him. What is he talking? See? So then Krishna, when he said this, without any more words from the gopis, he took his heel of his left foot, heel, and he stuck it deeply into the ground. Not where, Aristasura, the male cow or bull demon, made his hoof prints. He made it in a separate place. That's clear from that. He stuck his heel deep in the ground like that. And he said, all of you gopis, now you just watch me. Like that. So Krishna closed his eyes. And in his meditation, he called first for the water of the Bhagavati river. And the Bhagavati river flows in the Patala region, in the hellish planets. So he started with the bottom rivers first, in a sense. Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, upper, middle, and lower planetary regions. So the Bhagavati river came, and it entered into the heel part of Krishna's impression of the heel on the ground. But it flooded, it expanded a little bit more. Then Krishna said, oh, now all you holy places and all the other holy rivers, come and be over this Bhagavati river, because the higher rivers will come higher and higher and higher. So when Krishna spoke these words, all the holy places as well as the rivers appeared before him. And with their, pranams, they offered prayers to Krishna. See? And Krishna said to the gopis, look, I don't need to take, millenniums of years to go to these places. See, they have all come to me. Just see, all the holy rivers and all the holy places are here in one place. And what's the proof? Can you see? They're praying to me. Can you see? They're praying to me. See? So then the gopis replied, we don't see them as you describe, we see them praying to you. So immediately the personification of these rivers and holy places became liquid form, and they entered into that kund, which became known as Shyama Kund. See, Shyama Kund. So then some of the best of the holy places, they came and then they spoke up and they addressed Srimati Radharani. They said, I am the saltwater ocean. I am the ocean of milk. I am the river called Soma. I am the Sindhu river. I am the Tamraparni river. I am the holy place called Pushkara. I am the river Saraswati. I am the Godavari. I am the Yamuna. I am the Reva. And I am all the rivers at the confluence of Prayag. Just see our waters. They were addressing Srimati Radharani. So then Krishna, after hearing the waters like that, speaking to the gopis, he entered into that Shamakund, and by bathing he came out. He said, I have fulfilled your desires of atonement. I have bathed in all the holy places and the rivers. And Srimati Radharani became transcendently envious. Well, because the arrogance of Krishna entered into her consciousness and she became arrogant. Because that's what association means. If you associate with an arrogant person, you also take the arrogance in that sense. But this is completely on the transcendental platform. Completely on the transcendental platform. It's not the arrogance of this material world. This is the origination of transcendental arrogance in pastime or lila. It is relishable. It is relishable. See? So Srimati Radharani, without speaking directly to Krishna in a transcendental sort of envy or arrogance, she said, my dear Sakis, now I must create an even more beautiful pond or kund, better than even Krishna's. But in a consciousness in the background, what can be better than all the holy places and all the holy rivers in one place? So she couldn't figure out how to do that. So then she looked around and she saw that Aristasura's hoof print, that bull demon, was a little bigger in one place because he used to, if Aristasura used to come backwards and put his hooves, the hind hooves, like hitting it into the ground and creating a bigger, more depth, impression of his hoof print. So she saw that, and she saw that that hoof print of Aristasura was quite larger than Krishna's small hoof print from his heel, or Shamakund. So she said, there's it. And then she said, take out your bangles, take out everything else, and start digging in this place of Aristasura's impression of his hoof print, which is much bigger and better than Sham's heel hoof print with the waters of wind. See? So at that nearby spot, all the gopis began digging these lumps of soft mud with their hands and with the bangles. They took it out and using it as instruments to dig more earth out and so forth. And practically in the short expanse of an hour, Krishna saw they have also created a nice pond-like area like that. See? Then Krishna, in his even deeper arrogance, he said, well, no water. You don't have the waters like that. See? So he said, if you need any water, I will supply. I have so much. All the holy places and all the holy rivers are with me here. I have so much, including the lake of Pushkar, like that. You go ahead, and you and all of you, just as you filled up that, now you take your clay pots and so forth, you come to my kund, you carry water from there and put in your kund and put in your pond that you created a space for. Go ahead and do it. But that'll take quite long. It'll take quite long. So Srimati Radharani insisted, no. This is impossible. Since the water of your pond is highly contaminated still by the terrible sin of killing a cow, you purified yourself in that water, and that water is becoming contaminated by your sin of killing a cow, or a female, this is a male cow, which is a bull. Yeah. Krishna said, all right, you do what you want to do. See? So nearby this area, which is to be named Radhakund, is a beautiful lake called Manasaganga, which is within the town of Govardhan itself when you go there today. And Radharani said, don't worry. I have many countless number of Sakis, my friends, and we will make a line. So from that area, they made a line to Manaseganga. And in many pots, they started bringing water. You know, one taking the water, putting on the head, taking another gopi and putting it there, until they came to Radharani, and Radharani took that water from the pot and offloaded it. And then another queue takes the empty pots back, and it comes like that. Very beautiful scene. And Krishna is looking at this. And what Krishna sees? He sees the perspiration that are like jewels on Radharani's lotus transcendental face. And he could not handle that. He said how hard she is working with her gopi friends to bring that water. And when he sees that perspiration coming, and that perspiration actually, it's like jewels. Radharani's perspiration, when it comes down onto a transcendental form and it bathes throughout her dress, it drenches her dress. And the transcendental form is more exquisite to look at. And that perspiration even goes towards the lotus feet. And that perspiration effort that he's putting to bring all this water from Manaseganga to fill her pond, that perspiration also enters into that pond through her lotus feet. It is not just the water of the Manaseganga. It is a whole transcendental, you could say, expansion of a consciousness in the form of a transcendental perspiration, which is very fragrant and most beautiful to look at. It's like jeweled perspirations coming down and entering into that pond. Amazing. So Krishna saw that. And Krishna saw, oh, this girl, she's struggling and working so hard. Struggling and working so hard. Then Krishna summoned the main personality, which is like a heavenly personality, who is an intimate associate, who represents all the holy places and all the holy rivers. He summoned that person. Again. In a sense, it is called like Tirtharaj. Tirtha means all the holy rivers and all the holy places. It's called Tirtha. So the Tirtharaj is a personification that represents all the holy places and all the holy rivers. So this Tirtharaj arose from Krishna's Kund, or Shama Kund, arose like that. And immediately, that Tirtharaj, who represents all the waters in Krishna's Kund, arose and immediately went and immediately offered dandavats at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And with joined palms, bowing down, humbly, with tears pouring from the eyes of Tirtharaj, personified form of representing all the holy places and the rivers, began praying in earnest, deep devotion. And the prayer went something like, oh, the goddess of all goddesses, even Lord Brahma himself, who knows the scriptures, cannot understand you and your glories. What to speak of Lord Shiva and Lakshmi, they don't even understand you. See? But we know that only Sri Krishna here, who is the supreme goal of all of our efforts, where we serve Krishna to please him, can understand you. And thus he is eager to wash away. He is eager to wash away even that perspiration. And he doesn't want to see you so tired and fatigued and working so hard just to fill the waters in your kund. Like that. And this Krishna, they're speaking about Krishna to Srimati Radharani, that, he even anoints your lotus feet with this nectarine, there's a substance that he mixes called charu and another substance called yavaka, like that. And he decorates your lotus feet. And when you bring your lotus feet to his lotus palms, the ankle bells, they sing. And then he rejoices. And he feels that he's so fortunate that he satisfies his desire by simply touching not just your lotus feet, even the tips of your toes of your lotus feet. See? But what to do? On his order, and for us to give Krishna pleasure, we have immediately come here to live in this super excellent pond of his, which he has just created by one stroke of his small, tender-like heel. See? But only now, if you, Srimati Radharani, if you can feel satisfied with us and you bestow us also with your merciful glance, will our desire bear fruit? Because we cannot also see that you are perspiring so much, as Krishna is becoming depressed by seeing that perspiration. So hearing this prayer spoken by the representative of the full assembly of the holy rivers and the holy tirthas, Radharani was very pleased. And she said, kindly let me know what is your desire. So then that representative Tirtharaj of all the holy places, they simply requested Srimati Radharani, our lives are only partially successful by pleasing Krishna. But we know Krishna will be fully pleased and we will be fully satisfied if we can simply enter by your mercy into your pond. This is the benediction we desire from you. So Radharani is still a bit, you could say, externally angry with Krishna. So she turns from the corner of her eye. How sometimes, people will see somebody else like, like that, like the eye, like that. So this beautiful daughter of Vrishabhanu and Kirtida, she replied while looking at Krishna and not at Tirtharaj, not the one who's representing the holy places and the holy rivers. She replied, like in a sidelong glance to Krishna. And that sidelong glance pierces arrows, of desire into Krishna's heart to associate with her. When she does that, it's very powerful, those sidelong glances. Yeah. And then she told, while looking at Krishna, please come. Please come. And all the gopi friends, they put down their clay water pots down, and they all were in sync, in sync with Radharani's decision. See? And they became immersed in an ocean of happiness. So in that way, the holy places flooded into the pond of unrestrictedly flooded like that into the pond of Radharani, which became known as Radhakund. And then Krishna saw that, hold on. So he called Tirtharaj. He says, look, what is going on here? There's hardly any water in my pond. Then Tirtharaj says, no, we have to go to Radharani's first, and by her mercy, we will also come to your pond again. So therefore, you see this flow when you go to Radhakund today. You see this flow from Shyamakund, water comes in, and from Radhakund, water goes back. It is by its own consciousness it travels like that. When you go clearly and you'll see there's one place that connects the two ponds, you'll see that these waters, that one is moving this way, and in the same vicinity, another water is coming this way. They mix like that. So thus gaining the grace, and the mercy of Radharani, all these waters, lakes, fiercely, practically forcibly broke into from the boundary walls of Shamakund, and they swiftly filled Radhakund, with the waters. Then Krishna said, "My dear Sri Radha, may this pond of yours become even more famous than my own pond. And I will always come and bathe in your pond first. And we can enjoy ourselves in the waters of your kund." And that's how it became known as Radha Kund. And Radhani became very pacified and replied, "Okay, if you first come to my kund or my pond, then I also come to your pond. And even if you kill hundreds of, Haristasura demons like that. But in the future, everyone should know that anyone who has intense devotion for your lake, Shamakund, where you chest, where in this area where you chastise Aristasura, and anyone who bathes and resides there also becomes very, very dear, most dear to me, most dear to me." So by that time, the evening full moon rose. Evening full moon rose, and Krishna initiated a rasa dance at Radhakund. And Krishna was resembling like a cloud. And Radharani was like a brilliant flash of lightning, filling the sky with abundant ecstasy and beauty. So in this way, their divine glories are permeated throughout the worlds, throughout the worlds. So therefore, you will find that when we go to Vraj Mandala, and you will find generally devotees will say, even the bridge basis will say, "Oh, where are you going?" "I'm going to Radhakund." They will never mention they're going to Shamakund. They'll say, "No, we're going to Radhakund." And the signs on the boards are saying Radhakund. But Shamakund is also there. Is also there. So therefore, Krishna gave that benediction to Radharani that your Radhakund will be more famous. And it is as non-different from you. All right. Let us take some questions now, if you have any. And at the same time, we had one outstanding question from, I think, Manish yesterday. If he's with us today. Oh, Manish is here?
Yes,
Yeah,
Maharaj,
Manish.
he's here.
Yeah. You had one outstanding question, but it may be a little different from the topic we discussed today.
Yeah.
Still, we
Hare
can
Krishna
take it.
Maharaj.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Maharaj, I have two questions because one question is coming from yesterday's class and
So
the second is from today's class.
first. Ask your question from yesterday's class first. Do it now.
Sure. Yes, Maharaj, as you said that in Bhav Bhakti, the Bhav Bhakti arises from ecstasy, right? In the yesterday's class. So I want to know that usually the ecstasy also comes from, intense emotions, or maybe through, mind that is in the form of mental concoctions. So when a person is at a stage of Bhav Bhakti, how will a person know that it is actually bhav bhakti and it's not just mental concoction?
Good question. Put me back onto the screen. Yeah. You see, when a newly married wife, one day after the marriage, when she associates with the husband and she demands from the husband, because a newly married wife now has the intense desire of becoming a mother. See? And then there's the father when the child is born. So can the newly married wife say, to a newly married husband, I want a child now. She cannot. One day or 1 week even after the marriage, or even 1 month after the marriage. It's not going to happen. She is very patient. She knows she has to follow the process of Garbhada's samskar to attract a highly elevated soul into her womb at the time of conception, with the husband who will become the future father. And she also knows that when she is with the child within the womb, she has to wait for at least 9 months or more or less. She cannot demand in the 3 months into a pregnancy, be born now. I want to see you now. I need to play with you. Can she do that? In fact, if she interferes with the natural process of the pregnancy, there may be difficulty for the child to be born now. See? So one question that you have, sort of said is that there's no premature stage for this. One has to give it the necessary time in one's practice and keep one's heart open for Krishna's mercy to descend, because bhava bhakti or ecstasy is not achieved by one's practices in Krishna consciousness. It descends by its own mercy. Just as the mother who is pregnant with the child is patient and is very careful. Oh, let me go and see my medical, doctor now, and let she tell me how is the pregnancy going, is it all safe and so forth, nothing wrong. She's very sensitive. She even tolerates the kicking of the child within the womb in the formative stages of the child, when the limbs are being formed. She gets ecstasy, even the kicking, although the child is not born yet. See? So in the same way, we have to tolerate some kicking in a pleasurable way. Not that we want to feel ecstasy on our terms. The mother tolerates the child's kicking in the womb, and the mother may even have sleepless nights. She may even get sick in some ways during the pregnancy, but she feels great pleasure that the child is safe. So similarly, when we protect our devotional creeper like the pregnant child in the womb, be sensitive to it, be careful to it, not to commit offenses and not kill that devotional creeper. But at the end, we know that in its beginning stages of blooming, of birth, of ecstasy will come. See, ecstasy will come. So therefore, we cannot really even discuss it philosophically. Who can explain the joy of a mother when the child is kicking in the womb? Even as a father, he doesn't know what that is. Who can explain the joy of a mother when the child is born? See? Not even the father can explain that, but so much pain at childbirth. So we have to go through some austerity. We have to go through some penances. We have to go through some, tapasya, some vairagya for this. We have to a mother pregnant with a child cannot even eat foods that are like pungent, chili. She knows it'll affect the child. Although she may like to eat what she wants to eat, but she cannot do it now. So we have to perform all that austerity and tolerate the association of devotees to come to this point. So therefore, it is very important that this feature of coming to the platform of Bhava Bhakti is not in our hands. it is descending to us by Krishna's mercy, not in our hands at all. We just have to strictly follow the regulative principles and perform sadhana bhakti. Rules and regulations have to be, strictly followed in that way. So there's no premature situation in this. And this premature situation may be like discussed, but that which is natural is not discussed. Is not discussed. It comes by its own mercy. It descends by its own mercy. So if the mother prematurely interferes with the growth of, grow up quickly, come on, be born, they're going to be disaster. The child may even be like lifeless in the womb. So we don't want that to happen to us. Manish, is that okay?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Maharaj.
All you have to do now is just serve the devotees and follow the instructions to maturely and naturally, you could say in one sense, progress in Krishna consciousness. So let's take your second question for today's class.
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, I remember that I had been to Vrindavan for the first time in 2010, and that time I had devotee friends. So one of the leader in that group had advised us to, go when we were on the way to Shamkund and Radha Kund. So he had told us a sequence of having bath into Shamkund and Radha Kund. I don't believe.
We're going to discuss that tomorrow.
Okay, fine.
We're going to discuss that tomorrow, your question. We'll take other questions now, but your question will be fully answered tomorrow about
Definitely.
bathing in Radha Kund.
Certainly. Maharaj, just before, about the first question which I asked, I totally agree to what you say. However, the question was also that obviously I'm not in a hurry to get to that stage of the bhav stage because it will happen automatically. But how will a devotee come to know, whether it is not a concoction or
You
whether...
will not know.
Okay. Okay.
You will not know. Others may see it in you, but you will not know. Because that which is natural is not for show, is not for advertisement. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Just like somebody is walking, right? And that person who's walking, he will tell somebody else, hey, can't you see I'm walking? And the other person wonder, what's wrong with him? Then as he's walking again, he'll see another person. Hey, can't you see I'm walking? And the second, hey, what is wrong with you? I know you are walking. Why do you have to tell me you are walking? Something wrong with you. See? That's one example. Now, opposing to that in its positive side, somebody is walking, right? And while they're walking, they may be like, you could say, looking at the trees, looking at the birds, and so forth, say while they're walking. But they're walking, they are not conscious of. They are more conscious of looking at the fruits and the trees and the flowers and the birds and the sunset and so forth like that. But they are not conscious that they're walking. See? But another person may see, look how nice he's walking and he's observing the trees, the plants, and the birds. See? And that's more natural. So when you're not conscious that you're in Bhava Bhakti, but you are naturally doing it, that's the second example. But the first example, you're telling persons, see, can you see I'm in Bhava Bhakti? Can you see? Can't you recognize it? That's unnatural. Like, can you see I'm walking? That's unnatural. You will not know. But others may perceive that who are also in an advanced consciousness. Manish, nice questions, practical questions for everyone else also too. No, thank you very much.
Thank you, Maharaj.
You're welcome. Okay, let us take more comments or questions if anyone else has.
Maharaj, I have one question.
You tell us, come onto the screen.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So my question
Hare-
is like when I was like reading Brahma Samhita last time, so I heard that word Sweta Dweep, and like there's like statement that there is a mysterious quadrangular place named Sweta Dweep Regul, which is surrounded the outskirt of Goloka. So how can I understand what is this Sweta Dweep is?
Sweaterdip is this place. I'll tell you now.
Okay, Maharaj.
Put me on the screen. In the Krishna book, when you read in the beginning chapters, Lord Brahma and the demigods, they were going to offer prayers for the Lord to appear. And in his meditation on the bank of the ocean of milk, right? Within that ocean of milk, there's an island called Svetadip. See? So in that area, which is like the, in one sense, which is like the last feature of the spiritual world, not the border. Brahma goes there. And in his meditation, he goes to the island of Svetadip. It cannot be seen, but it can be perceived and felt through meditation. So in his meditation, he prays to Narayan. And Narayan is massaged, at his lotus feet by Lakshmi Devi. See? So that is called the island of Svetadip. So Brahma goes there to pray for the Lord to appear into this world because the demigods are being harassed by the demons, kind of like Kamsa and so forth at that time. So that's the island of Svetadip. It's a form of Narayan, which is called in one sense, like, you get Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. The three presiding deities for creation, maintenance, and destruction. So that form of Vishnu Narayan lives in the island of Svetadip, and then through that meditation, Narayan informed Brahma, I'll appear. So that is called the island of Svetadip, and sometimes it's called the ocean of milk, within which is the island in which Vishnu Narayan is there, relaxing on the bed of Anantashesh, and Lakshmi is massaging his feet. Now that's like the last end of the form of the Supreme Lord. But the intimate form of Krishna is Radha Krishna, which is Goloka Vrindavan. Next question or comment?
Next question by Narayan Prabhu.
Narayan Prabhu, please come onto the screen. Is that Narayan, our Narayan from Mauritius? Where are you? You can unmute yourself and start speaking. You'll come onto the screen.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, all glories to.
This is another Narayan. Okay. All right, Narayan Prabhu, tell me your question, please.
Maharaj, I'm seeing a process in this Krishna consciousness, the surrendering mentality, accepting a Siksha Guru who helps and guides along the way to initiation. So I feel safe and secure in this way, and it's enjoyable in a way. But what if there is a trend of devotees who thinks of serving only Radha Krishna directly or thinks of serving only Srila Prabhupada? I foresee some stumbling blocks along their way, but the question is, should I be concerned about this?
You're seeing outside of you or inside of you in relation to your question?
It's inside.
You mean the question is personal but not in relation to other devotees?
Yes, in a way it is.
Or both? Or both?
It's devotees.
Okay, so the question is outside of you, not inside of you.
Yes, outside.
Oh. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. I need to know that part so that I could respond to you. Okay, so now I will respond. Okay. Now, it's important to have an understanding which you may share with other devotees, because you said you're talking about people outside of you. So we have to be careful how we see other devotees without committing offenses. See, so therefore, the first thing is that when I share the explanation with you now, you can only explain it to devotees that have faith in you and that have relationship mutually. You with me? You cannot go and find fault with other devotees in this way of your question. So it's important to respond with this answer to them, via you to them, and explain to them further that this is better than that. See? But that's based on faith and relationship. You cannot just go to a devotee, that may be friendly but not close to you. See, in that sense. So you heard of a binoculars or telescope? You know, right? Yeah. So the binoculars or telescope is that if you take some object that is very far, and in your binoculars or telescope, you have 3 lenses. So that item or object that is very far can come near to you because of the lenses, 3 lenses. But if you add one more lens to that, that's 4. And if you add another lens, that's 5. Then that object that you see that's very far comes even more nearer because the lenses are increasing in its number. So similarly, if you have a very powerful binoculars or a telescope, and it has, say, 10 lenses, then that 10 lenses will bring the object that is so far, it brings even more nearer to you as if you can touch it. See? So similarly, if we have more devotees between ourselves and Radha and Krishna, the more Radha and Krishna will be nearer to us. Like the lenses are like more devotees. See? So, in fact, if you have just 5 devotees between you and Radha and Krishna, just say you and your guru and members of the disciplic succession, then Radha and Krishna will come nearer. But if you have the Vaishnavas between you and Radha and Krishna, how much more collective, more of each other's devotion you will get affected by, and Radha and Krishna becomes very close to you. But if you don't have anyone between you and Radha and Krishna, Gopi Bhatta Pada Kamalayo Dasa Dasa Anudas, that means not being the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant unlimitedly. And like the telescope with only one lens or no lens, or just one lens, that's you, the objects of our devotion and the subjects of our discussion for devotion may remain very far. So that analogy is given. Narayan Prabhu, is that all right? So it's better to be the servants of the servants of the servants unlimitedly in relationship to Radha and Krishna. Because unlimitedly, you get so much more devotion of the persons you serve. And that brings Radha and Krishna closer by the combined devotion of other devotees. And even if you don't have any devotion, you will run on their devotion and Radha and Krishna will come closer.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
You're welcome. I'll take one more question and then I'll conclude with a nice rendering of Radhe Sham and Radha Kund. Any other question? One more. And we can continue with questions tomorrow.
Okay. There is 2 devotees. So Anjana Gopika Mataji raised her hand first.
Who's the other devotee?
Prananath Prabhu.
Okay, tell Prananath to come onto the screen first.
Okay, Prananath Prabhu. You can unmute yourself, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, tell me your question.
Maharaj, it was regarding sadhana bhakti and raganuga bhakti. So once we reach the raganuga stage,
don't worry about reaching it.
Huh? Hello?
How do you know that you're going to reach Raganuga?
No, I mean to say, on the way of when we do sadhana,
You
theoretically, I'm
just
asking.
perform sadhana.
Yes.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, just be strictly performing sadhana.
Yes.
Raganuga will come by its own mercy. Now, what's your
Okay.
question?
So that is answered. The second thing is
Good.
when we, in a sadhana stage or neophyte stage, we relate to Prabhupada, we speak to Prabhupada, we have a relation with Prabhupada, and we interact. And similarly, we interact with the deities also. We speak, we have a relation. So
Yes.
is it a form of Raganuga for that minimum percentage? Is it? I want to know.
Let me ask you a question, right? Put me back on the screen.
Yes.
You have a mother, right?
Right.
Right? Now, when you were a little child, right? And you say, and I call your mother, Ma, right?
Yes.
Your mother is very affectionate to you, right?
Right.
And you are naturally affectionate to your mother, but you're a child.
Hmm.
See? So now that when you become a young adult, your voice changes. Because when the children call for the mother, they say, Mama, they sing it.
Yes.
So now you're very affectionate. And now that you're an adult and your mother still has the same deep affection for you. And now you don't say, Mama, you say, Ma, what's wrong?
Yes.
See, then now that's in your adult mature stage. But does your mother's affection change for you?
No.
Does your affection change for your mother since now you're an adult and no more a child? It's the
No.
same, right?
Right.
Yeah. So there's no question of being in sadhana bhakti or ragana bhakti. It's all the same.
Okay.
Just that now you have grown up a little bit, but the affection is the same. So there may be beginning affection like a child, and then maybe deeper affection as you grow up. But that's not the issue here. As a child, you had affection for your mother, and as an adult, you still have affection for your mother. So when one comes to that stage of internal state, it doesn't matter stages. Doesn't matter. You can speak to the deity, you can speak to Prabhupada, you can speak to the devotees. You understand? So sometimes, somebody may say, I'm using you as an example. Somebody say, Prananath, when he first came into our association, other devotees may say, he used to get angry so quickly. Now Prananath is with us for 5 years. We're wondering when he'll get angry, but he's not getting angry. That means it's the same devotees that have affection for you, and it's the same devotees you associate with. So you don't know that you have improved. They see it.
Yes.
But the affection is the same from their side, and his affection is the same from your side, just like with your mother. You were naughty when you were a boy. Now you may not be so naughty.
I am.
The affection is the same.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So now we'll take the other question tomorrow from what? Gopika.
Anjana Gopika Mataji.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll take that. But I just want to say one more thing in relation to Radha and Krishna, which is given by Srila Prabhupada very, very nicely in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 4 in text number 125, in the purport actually, by Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada gives us a very beautiful text from Govinda Lilamrita, which is in this purport by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Yeah. And Srila Prabhupada says that one of Radharani's closest friends, in fact, Radharani's private secretary, that arranges a meeting with Krishna, and her name is Vrindadevi. So Vrindadevi Radharani tells Vrinda Devi, oh my beloved Vrinda, where are you coming from? You know? And then Vrinda says, no, I went to I went to see Hari. I'm coming from the lotus feet of Shri Hari. See, which is another name for Krishna. So Radharani asks Vrinda, where is he? Where is he? And Vrinda Devi says, oh, he's there in the forest around Radhakund. What is he doing? Radharani asks, what is he doing? Yeah. So Vrinda Devi says, oh, Shri Hari, he's learning dancing. Oh, so if he's learning dancing, who is teaching them this dancing? Who is teaching him? If he's learning, means there must be some master. Who's the master who's teaching him the dances? Yeah. So then Vrinda Devi says, his only master who's teaching him dancing is your image, Radha. That he's gone a little bit pagla, you know. He's gone a little bit crazy that he sees your image as his master, and he sees you in every tree, in every creeper, in every direction, and he's dancing. And he sees you and he's dancing like a skill. He's learning dancing from you. Like, when the creeper goes like that, he goes like that. When the tree is, when the wind stops the tree, he goes upward. He sees you like that. So therefore, this happens. Krishna goes a little bit, he goes a little bit crazy or pagla. Oh man, I'd rather could, if Radharani is coming a little late, to meet him there. And then in the Madhya Lila in chapter 18, Srila Prabhupada says, in that lake, Krishna and Radharani, they used to spot daily in that water. They have the rasa dance on the bank. Daily, they used to meet. All right, we look forward to your nice association again tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki, a nectar of instruction ki, Srila Upadeshamrita ki, Nitai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.